Welcome back everybody to another episode on the Beginner's Guide. And in this episode we are going to be using everything we've been doing so far to get our gear enchanted. And that means that we can start doing a bit more dangerous stuff. We can go off to the nether for the next stage of things. We can go a bit of adventure. Have nice shiny things. So what we take from up here is obviously we have our experience levels. As you can see down in the bottom here, I've got 54 experience so far. You need at least a minimum of 30 to enchant, and each level will cost 3 experience. So if we're looking at all of these bits and then all of these bits, that's what? So 30, 33, 36, 39, 42, 45, 48, 51. There may be enchants you don't want to take. There may be a couple of extras you have to do. So generally we're looking at somewhere between 50 and 60. What I've got here is 54. That'll do me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this iron because my sword is nearly dead. And I'm going to take the bone meal. Yes, I'm going to take the bone meal. And the bone meal is used in the next part. And the next part is over here at the wheat farm. What we're going to do is we're going to break all this wheat. We're going to replant it. And then what we're going to do here, we are here for this wheat, so at the moment we have less than a stack. There's no real number of how much you need at the moment, but what we can do is if we take our bones here and put them in the crafting box, if we just single click, you can see we do 1 combine. If we hold shift basically says do as many as possible, do as much as I have the inventory for, and click, we take it all. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our seeds in our offhand, and we're going to put our bone meal on our bar. And then what we're going to do is we're going to spam right click until this has grown up. So bone meal will force things to grow. So bone meal, if we right click on this, you see it grows it. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep growing this, and when it grows up to full, we just left click to break. Then we just spam right click and it plants it and breaks it. And now we've got just over a stack. The next stage is over here at the Sugarcane Farm. So what we're going to do, sugarcane will only go up to 3 high, so these are all fully grown. They never go any higher than that. This is their max. So what we're going to do is we're going to punch the middle block here. And what this does is this breaks the top 2, but leaves the bottom one in place. Now this basically acts as the root. This basically means that it will just start to grow again. Because there's only 1 tool now, this can carry on growing. So we're just going to break all these and collect all this. Now, having said that bone meal will force things to grow, it doesn't work on sugarcane. So right now, well, as you can see, I'm just spamming right click and hit the grass there. I'm right clicking on this and it's just not working. It works on crops and it works on plants and trees as well, but it doesn't work on sugarcane for some reason. The next step is I'm actually going to make a new sword with the iron I brought down. The next stage is to come over to the cow farm here. We take the wheat we just got and we breed as many cows as we can by running around in circles and just spamming right click. You see the hearts come up, it means that the animal, and this works the same for all the animals, it means the animal is ready for breeding. So if you get 2 of the animals with the heart shapes, they will make a baby. And the reason we do this is because now we have a new generation born, we need to help the current generation move on to better places. And there goes the swords, but another one. We just need to be careful about hitting the babies. We don't want to kill the babies. And you also want to be careful about how many of these you kill, because you need at least 2 to breed. So never kill, if you kill them all, never kill the remaining 2. Always leave 2 more to build. That'll do for the moment. So there has been a lot of cows killed. And what we do that for is not only for the food we mentioned last time, so this is a great food source, and some people even say it's one of the best in the game. It's the only food, or one of the only foods, that actually restore 4 health. Most of them only give you 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the sugarcane we just got, and we're going to search for paper, and we're going to shift click, and what shift click does is it says to the game, put as many as I possibly can into the crafting table. And then we're going to shift click to take as many as I possibly can out of the crafting table. And then we're going to combine again. And we're going to look for book. And we're going to shift click to put as many as I can in. I'm going to shift click to get as many as I can out. Now we need 46 books. So basically that means we're going to have to do the same thing over and over. We're going to have to keep breeding the cows, keep letting the sugarcane grow. Hopefully you've been breaking this kind of as you've been playing. So hopefully, I don't know if I've got any, hopefully you'll have some sort of stock already. Have I got any? I don't have any. So I'm going to let the sugarcane grow, and I'm going to breed more cows, and I'm going to use the bone meal from the mob farm to grow the wheat, to breed the cows, and to kill them. So I will be back in quite a while. Right, and I am back, and I now have my 46 books. I've put a lot of the beef in here to cook just because I ran out of food. The next stage we need to do is we look in here and we look for, can we find it? We can't find it. So if we take some of the wood we have and we take the books we have, this is what we're after here. We're after these bookshelves. So by shift clicking, I can see at the moment I've only got enough materials on me to make 2 bookshelves. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the tree farm that we prepared earlier, and we're going to get some more wood. Now, remember you need to grab the saplings. You need to replant these. So I'm going to do 1, 2 for the leaves, 1, 2 for the leaves, and 1 for the sapling. And then what you can do with the bone meal, much like the wheat over there, is you can bone meal the saplings to force it to grow. And that also gives you a much quicker source of wood, because you don't actually have to wait for the trees to grow naturally. You can force them to grow using that. The only thing you do need to make that work is to get saplings. And you can get saplings just by breaking leaves. You can just punch them to break them. You don't need a specific tool. The hoe does break leaves quicker. So if you have a hoe or you want to make a hoe, then that will break these quicker. But you can punch them as well. And obviously punching is free as far as resources go. It doesn't cost you anything to make them. You don't have to craft it. You don't have to go and get wood or iron or whatever. So hopefully, if I now craft these into all these planks, let's see how many bookcases we can make. So we can actually make the perfect amount. We need 15 bookshelves. I guess it's a bookshelf, not a bookcase. I've probably been calling it cases. We need 15 bookshelves, and 15 bookshelves gives us the max level enchants, the level 30 enchants that we want to put on our gear. So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to pop these away for safekeeping. The next thing we need is we need some obsidian, we need some diamonds, and we need another book. So the reason we have 46 books is because 45 of them go into the bookshelves. And the 46th, the last book, goes into making the enchanting table. Right, so to make some obsidian, which is the first thing we need, we have a bucket of water. Earlier on, when you were mining, or when we were doing the mining, I said to you, make sure to remember where you find some lava, because we're going to need it later on. So this is what we need it for. So I'm going to use my lava pool just over there, because it's on the surface, and it's just easier than going into the mines. But no doubt, if you don't have any lava on the surface, which is a fairly uncommon thing, you would definitely have found some down in your mine. So just go use those. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the water down. The water, when it flows over lava like this, converts it into obsidian. Like so. Now, obsidian is notoriously difficult to break, and you must use a diamond pick to break it. So right now I'm using the iron pick that you can see in my hand. And first off, you can see how long it's taking. It is taking ages. So when this breaks, any moment now, at some point today, maybe? Hooray, there it goes. Right, it broke. But as you can see, there is no obsidian. I didn't pick anything up. There's nothing in the hole. I didn't get any obsidian from that. It basically just broke the block and did not let me grab it. So I probably should have brought my diamond pick over when I was going. But when you go to the mines with your bucket of water, also take your diamond pick. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the water in the one we've already done there. So what I would suggest is when you pour it over like this, you tend to want to break a block, something like this one here, and then pour the water into there and then jump in. And the reason we do this is because as you're mining, the water will start flowing in the direction you're mining. It will solidify the lava before you hit it, but it will push you into the next block to help you, A, to keep mining, and B, to pick it up. So what we're going to do here, I'm just going to hop in. I'm just going to mine all this out. And we'll see as this breaks, I will not only pick it up, but the water, in fact, this isn't lava, so it didn't actually do anything. But if there was lava there, this would have turned into obsidian as well. But it's pushed me forward in to the next block, and it's also pushed me into looting the item. So now all I have to do is basically just look forward and hold the click down. Now we only need 4 obsidian blocks. So this takes a while to mine, but we only need 4 of them. In the next episode, we will need to come back and we will need to grab another 10 of these. So while you're here, it's probably worth mining 14 obsidian just to save you coming back later. So I'm just going to mine away 14 blocks. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be really careful about this. I'm not going to break these border blocks because that's lava. All right, lava is not particularly fun. So I'm going to keep that nice and safe. I'm going to stay in... I'm actually going to break this one because that one's not got any water. So I'm going to leave that kind of wall there. I'm going to make sure that I don't go into the lava because lava's hot. Doesn't feel good. Not the kind of bath I want to have. We have our 14 blocks, so I'm going to head back home. I'm going to take my water with me because I like water. Well, I've got lots of water. I didn't need to grab that. I've got lots of water. So what I'm going to do is 1, 2, oh, yeah. So if you right click, it places 1. So I'm going to put 10 away and I'm going to keep these 4 here. I'm going to take my 15 bookcases. I'm going to take my 1 other book and I'm going to take 2 diamonds. It costs you 2 diamonds to do this. What we're going to do is we're going to make an enchanting table. So now we have our 15 bookcases and we have our enchanting table. And that is how you make an enchanter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to find somewhere to put it. It doesn't particularly matter where it goes. Doesn't mean anything. I'm just going to stick it in here. Now, to make an enchanting area, you need a 5x5 area where you're going to put things. And each bookcase must have kind of direct line of sight to the actual table itself. It's not true of ones that are hidden in the corner here. So if you have a bookcase here and a bookcase here, this one still works, even though the vision is kind of blocked, but it still has a kind of direct line of sight there. So because I have some slight OCD with this, I'm going to put my enchanting table in the middle. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm actually not going to put one here in this corner. I'm going to go there, 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 there. And with the 7 I've got left, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. So now what we have here is we have 14 bookshelves that have direct link to this table. And there's one hidden in that corner there as well. But the reason I do it like this is just because of my slight OCD thing going on. And it's, you know, it's symmetrical. You have 15 bookcases, which you can't make symmetrical unless you hide one. So if we right click this, this is what the enchanting table looks like. We put our equipment in the left slot here. This slot is for lapis lazuli, so hopefully you have a lot of that from your mining sessions. This is how many levels it costs you to enchant. So as I mentioned up the top, we have 55 here because each piece will cost you 3. So we have unbreaking, unbreaking, and efficiency. So you can see what the enchant is. And this is the minimum level that is required. We need level 30 to even unlock this enchant. So if we're level 30 and then we spend 3 experience, we are then 27 and therefore this is no longer unlocked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all my diamond equipment. I'm going to grab my lapis and I will be back. Hopefully, oh, I have some, 36. Yeah, there we go. 61 should be enough. It's not very much, but it should be enough. And again, we always have our mines down here if we need to go get some more. So once again, the mine's coming in handy. And then what we do, before we start enchanting, let's take a look and see what we're actually after. There's lots of enchants in the game. You want some. You will come to know which ones are the best ones to get and which ones are really important. So let's take a quick look at something I have bookmarked that you can also use yourself. So this post here is the post I had bookmarked when I started playing. And it's a post I suggest you guys bookmark as well, because it pretty much tells you exactly what you want to use to enchant. I will put the link in the description below. Grab a copy, favorite it, and you can refer back to it whenever you like. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at on our armor pieces, on all of our armor pieces, we want these three here. So protection means you take reduced damage from all sources. Unbreaking means the durability of an item will last for much, much longer. So when you take damage, your armor piece, pretty much, let's call it a health pool. Your armor has a certain level of health, and the unbreaking will means it goes down much slower. Mending is probably the most important enchant in the game, and you cannot get it off this table, but we will be getting it very, very shortly. Mending means that when you gain experience from killing mobs, or from any source really, that experience is then used to repair the gear, which means if you're careful, you can make a set of gear now, which is what we're doing, and that will last you for the rest of the game. That will last you your entire future in this world, and you'll never have to replace it. Having said that, the helmet has a couple of extra enchants on it as well. So Aqua Affinity means that when you're underwater and you're mining, you mine at the same speed that you do on land. Without this, and you're underwater, mining takes ages. Respiration here means that your oxygen lasts a lot longer. So while you're underwater, you won't drown as quick. On our boots, we want Depth Strider 3. Depth Strider 3 means that the flow of water doesn't affect your character as much or at all. So if you're trying to run upstream, you will find that you're having a hard time because that water just keeps pushing you back. With these boots, you won't even notice it. It's pretty much like you're walking on land. Feather Falling is reduced fall damage. So if you're jumping off or falling off higher areas onto kind of lower level ground, you won't take any or as much damage. Now these optionals, Blast Protection, I don't recommend because Protection gives you as much damage protection. Well, not as much as Blast Protection, but it's more generic. This protects you from all sources. This protects you from explosions. This says here to survive creeper attacks. Protection does the same thing. Just get protection. Thorns is just meh. It's not important. I wouldn't worry about it. Frostwalker, if you get Frostwalker, as you can see, it's instead of Depth Strider, so you only have one or the other. What Frostwalker does is Frostwalker will freeze any water around you. So if you go to run across a river or an ocean, the water will freeze and you'll be running over ice. The issue with this is, it's quite annoying, but also if you're ever jumping into water, because if you jump into water from, as we saw from our mining session, the water at the bottom, it removes all fall damage. However, if you're wearing these, that water will freeze, you will land on ice, and you will die. So it becomes a bit of a pain. Highly suggest you use Depth Strider. Frostwalker is a very niche thing. I've never needed to use it. You may need to use it at some point. I just wouldn't bother. Right, so onwards are Pickaxe, and there are two options here, and we do get them both. So Silk Touch will let you pick up a block exactly as it looks kind of on your screen. And what I mean by this is when we were mining, if we were mining stone, we were collecting cobblestone. If we were mining coal ore, we were picking up coal. If we were mining diamond ore, we were picking up diamonds. Silk Touch means you pick up the actual block. So you mine stone, you get stone. You mine coal ore, you get coal ore block, not the actual ore. Mine diamond block, you get the diamond ore block. Efficiency means you mine much, much quicker. So this is really important on any piece of gear, really, because quicker is better. A lot of blocks can be instantly mined if you have enough efficiency. Unbreaking and Mending, we've been over from the top here. Again, these two are hand in hand. They're the most important enchantments in the game, and they go on every piece of gear you have. So Pickaxe 2, we have Fortune 3 on this pickaxe. Now Fortune 3 means when you do mine ore blocks, you get more loot out of it. So if we have a diamond ore block and we mine it with an unenchanted pick, or we mine it with our iron pick as we were in one of the last episodes, we get one diamond ore block, we mine it, we get one diamond out of it. With Fortune, this multiplies that. So with Fortune, you can get 3-4 diamonds out of a single block. And obviously that's much better. If you're mining diamonds, you want as many as possible. If you're mining coal, you want as much as possible. Redstone, lapis, copper, whatever else you might be mining, you might want to, as much as possible. So what we tend to do is we tend to mine them with Silk Touch, and then if we need the ore, we mine them with Fortune. So moving on to the swords here, we have, again, 2 options. This is kind of the main option here. This is really the only one you want to be using. So Sharpness 5 really increases the damage your sword does. Sweeping Edge here increases the damage your sword does against creatures around the one you're looking at. So you may have noticed in your mob farm when you're swinging your sword, you might be hitting a skeleton, but you're also hitting everything around it as well. So a sword attack has an area of effects around it. Now what Sweeping Edge does is Sweeping Edge will increase the damage that you're doing to the mobs around the one you're looking at. So again, that's really helpful. Looting 3 means you get much more loot from it, from killing creatures. Some creatures have loot that you can only get when they are player killed, not when they are killed by any other means. So having looting means you're much more likely to get the item if that's what you're after. Again, Unbreaking and Mending. Sword 2 is we have Smite 5. Now, Smite and Sharpness cannot go on the same weapon, so it's either one or the other, which is why we have 2 swords here. Now, Smite 5 is extra damage against undead creatures. So Smite 5 you might use against skeletons or wither skeletons or the actual wither boss itself. Now, I understand you probably don't know what wither skeletons and wither boss is, but don't worry about it. That will come later. For the moment, I wouldn't really worry about Smite. I never have a Smite sword myself. I only have this one here. So go with this one. Bows. Power 5 means that it increases the damage your bow does. Unbreaking. Punch is kind of a knockback effect. So when you hit something with the arrow, the mob goes flying backwards. Actually, thinking about knockback, as you can see up here, we have knockback on the swords as well. So what knockback does is, as the name implies, when you hit a mob, it knocks it back. Now, this can be really helpful for kind of crowd control or for defense against things you're fighting. And that's because if you hit it, you knock it back, it then has to walk to you before it can hit you. And as it comes into range, you hit it again. And it's never hitting you because it's always walking towards you. Now, if you have a crowd of creatures around you, you can use this as crowd control, but you can hit one to knock it back, turn and hit another one to knock it back, turn and hit another one to knock it back. And so you might have 3, 4, 5 creatures trying to attack you, but none of them are actually hitting you because they're all trying to get to you. Without knockback, those 5 are just going to be hitting you, and well, it's going to hurt. So Fire Aspect here. Fire Aspect is an enchant on sword, and what this does is this will set the creature on fire. However, if you set the creature on fire and the creature hits you, it then sets you on fire. So as you can see here, because it's a close combat weapon, you're just going to set yourself on fire. It's not a great thing. So going back to bows, punch 1 is the same as knockback. Flame is the same as Fire Aspect, except because bows are ranged weapons, you have no risk of being set on fire. So if you want flame on a bow, perfectly fine. Now, Infinity and Mending are exclusive to each other. You cannot have both on the same bow. And you'll find there are actually 2 camps of people. One will be an Infinity bow kind of person, and the other one will be a Mending bow kind of person. Now, what Infinity does is Infinity will, if you have a single arrow in your inventory, that single arrow will just go on forever. You'll never shoot that single arrow because you have Infinity. It's basically an Infinity quiver as long as you have one in your bag. Now, Mending obviously means that, you know, we have loads of arrows from our mob farm, so arrow supply is not difficult to get. And Mending means you can, repair your bow. So if you use it a lot, you can, you got one of these maxed out, fully enchanted bows, you can heal it back up. But with Infinity, you can still repair the bow. You just have to combine other bows with it. Now, eventually, it will say that it's too expensive to repair. You only, I think you can only repair it a few times before you can't repair it again. But the bows are so easy to make that if you want to use Infinity, just to make it much easier to keep your arrow supply, you don't want to be running around with a stack of arrows, run out and can't use your bow anymore. This guarantees you'll always have arrows available as long as you have one in your bag. Axes. Right, so we have Sharpness 5, which increases the damage, the same as it does on a sword. Efficiency 5. Efficiency on an axe means that you kind of chop down wood much quicker. Of course, mending and unbreaking hand in hand on every single piece of equipment. I personally prefer Silk Touch on my axes. I always put it on. A lot of people don't use Silk Touch or Fortune, but for me personally, I use Silk Touch on mine because I like to get the melons. And that's kind of a money maker that we come to later on in the game. That's part of the village trading stuff. Not important for now. Shovel, again, it's the same kind of thing. Efficiency 5, because you want to, if you're digging up a lot of ground, you want to dig it up as quick as possible. Breaking, mending, always. And on shovels, again, I prefer Silk Touch. Now, the reason I prefer Silk Touch on a shovel is because if I'm digging up grass blocks rather than dirt blocks, I want to keep the grass block. I much prefer the grass block to dirt block. So by using Silk Touch on a grass block, it means I get to keep the grass and it doesn't convert it to dirt when I cut it up. Now, when you're mining gravel, if you use Silk Touch, you will get gravel 100% of the time. It will never break down into flint. If you use Fortune, as you can see, if you have Fortune 3, you will get you'll get flint from gravel every time. As you can see here, Silk Touch for grass, mycelium, podzol, whatever else. Now, Elytra, or Elytra, however you want to say it, probably the most important item in the game. This is how you fly around. This is basically your wings to let you travel much, much quicker, much greater distances. And these are the only 2 enchants that work on it. So the durability on the Elytra is really bad. So this is really important. And of course, this doesn't really fix anything. It just makes something bad, something slightly less bad. So mending, again, is super important on it because any experience you get will keep this fully healed and it will keep it working. Now, Elytra use rockets as propulsion. And rockets are made by gunpowder, which we have a mob farm for, and by paper, which we have a sugarcane farm for. So once we get this, and this will come up in a future episode, we have everything we need already to use it. The only thing we will need to do is get a mending book for it. Fishing poles, whether or not you want a fishing pole is completely up to you. You can actually fish for mending books. Fishing is not just for fish. Fishing also gives you treasure items, which includes enchanting books. It includes fishing rods and whatever else, loads of other stuff. So lore means you catch more stuff, and luck of the sea means you get better stuff. And of course, always, they're on everything. Shields, again, this, as you said, shields on here are so easy to make. They're so cheap to make that sometimes it's just not worth enchanting. These are the only 2 enchants that a shield takes. So if you do want to enchant it, this is what you stick on it. The only real reason you might want to enchant a shield is if you get a banner pattern. Now, a banner, if you think back to kind of medieval castles and things like that, where they have huge banners up on the wall with, you know, the castle crests, the house crests, something like that. You can actually make those in game where you can craft a banner with pictures on it, with crests on it, whatever you want on it, and you can actually put that on your shield. So if you go through the difficulty of crafting a banner, a picture, and you want to put it on your shield, you probably don't want that shield to break. So that's the point where you would put these on it, and therefore that shield will then should then last you forever, depending on how much damage you're taking compared to how much experience you're taking. So these are the enchants we need. These are the enchants we're going for. We're pretty much going for Silk Touch, pretty much these 3, and these 2, and any of these that we can do on our gear here. The rest of them we fill in later on. So as I mentioned, bookmark this page, and it just basically tells you what you want to put on there, right? So just do this, and eventually you will learn all the enchants, and you will learn what each enchant does, and you'll learn how important each enchant is. And the next time you play through, you know about them. You know what enchants you want. You know what enchants to get. So let's go back to the game. Right, so here we are back in game. We've got our gear. We've got our lapis. Here we go. So this one gives us Respiration 3. Now Respiration 3 is actually one of those that are really good. So I'm just going to pop my lapis in there. So as you can see, not only does it cost you 1, 2, or 3 levels, it also costs you 1, 2, or 3 lapis. So 1, 2, 3. Down the bottom here, 55 experience. Take this one. Protection 3 and Respiration 3, not too bad. We've gone down to 52. In here, Fire Protection, don't particularly want that. Projectile Protection, don't particularly want that. So these are similar to the Blast Protection we saw on the website there, in that Fire will protect you from fire and lava, Projectile from arrows, Blast from, explosions, whereas Protection just protects you from all forms of damage. So this is generally the best one to go for. Now, what we can do, and this is kind of a little known trick, is we can almost kind of re-roll. It's not really re-rolling, but what we can do is these books need a direct line of sight to the table. So if we put a torch down, we block that bookcase from reaching that table. So now if we look in here, you can see this is now 26 because this one is not adding to the table. And again, just no good options there, so let's not bother with that. Put another one up there. Now what it's doing again is it's only going down to 26. So it's not really re-rolling, but sometimes it can help you out. So quick editor's note on this little bit here, just to kind of explain what was meant to be happening here. So basically when we put an axe in here, we have efficiency 4, we block this off and we go to efficiency 3. You never want to do that. You never want to downgrade from 4 to 3 or 3 to 2. What could happen is instead of having kind of efficiency 4 go to efficiency 3, is you could get efficiency 4 go to Silk Touch or something like that. I used it was probably the worst example using a chest plate because it doesn't have any special enchants on it. But something like the boots, for example. So this one has got Depth Strider. If this was protection and we were to block this off, this could then become Depth Strider. Or let's say this Diamond Hoe, it's going to be the same as the axe, but it could go from efficiency 4 to Silk Touch or something like that. So we never want to downgrade from 4 to 3. And the only way it kind of re-rolls is by changing from efficiency to something like Silk Touch, or from protection into something like Depth Strider. So that's the only kind of re-rolling there is. And it's really important to know that with enchants that have different levels in them, like Protection 4 is Protection 4. It doesn't matter how much experience you paid for it. Protection 4 is Protection 4. It's the same with Fortune 3. It's the same with Depth Strider 3 and that sort of thing. So if you can re-roll, then sometimes it might be worth it. It's worth just having a look. Just seeing what you get. So let's have a look. Right, so legs, Protection 4. We didn't want the chest one, did we? Fire Protection, no, we didn't want the chest one. So if we do the legs first, only Protection 4, that's not great. Chest again, let's have a look. Protection 3, let's see if we can get something else. Fire Protection, not really. So this one, Protection 3, put that down. Unbreaking 3. So Unbreaking 3 is pretty good. So let's see what we get from this. Just Unbreaking. That's not particularly that good. Protection 4. Just Protection 4. So this has not really gone that well, because although we do have lots of protection on here, we don't have Unbreaking on these. We don't have protection on this. And we don't have Unbreaking on these. So what we can do is, if you want to, you can go farming for more diamonds, make some more gear, and you can enchant them both and you can combine them. So I will do that. I will farm for another set of gear here, just to kind of show you what that's going to look like. However, let's have a quick look. So Fortune 3, efficiency, Fortune 2, efficiency. All right, let's see what else we can have. Fortune, Bane of the Arthropods. So this is like this Smite in that it's an increase in damage, but it only affects spiders. Absolutely useless. Don't ever use it. So I am going to take the Fortune 3. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Fortune 3 on the diamond blocks. And we can see how many more diamonds we get from a diamond door block with Fortune on it. Unfortunately, it is just Fortune. That's not great. Again, we don't have Unbreaking. We don't have efficiency. So Diamond Shovel, Silk Touch. Do like Silk Touch. This one comes with efficiency 4, so that's not too bad. Looting 2. Let's see what yes, let's see the axe has got. So the axe has got unbreaking, so let's take that one. Efficiency 4 and unbreaking. That's actually a really good roll. Unbreaking 3. Ah, this has got fire aspect on it. I don't like that. I'm not going to do this. Had this had fortune, or if it had, in fact, let's try this again. Had this had fortune or silk touch, I would have taken that. But having a diamond, having a hoe without silk touch or without fortune is pretty pointless. Enchant wise, that is. So we now have enchanted gear. Unfortunately, as I mentioned before, it's not the best enchanted gear. Unfortunately, a lot of it is missing quite important stuff. So again, we don't have unbreaking, we don't have protection, we don't have unbreaking. Unbreaking is quite important. So what I am going to do, I'm just going to pop that away, is I'm going to go mining for diamonds, and I'm going to make another set, and I'm only going to do this to show you how you combine gear. I don't suggest you do it unless you particularly want to do it, but it can help. The only thing with this is that mining these extra diamonds can take a long time, so sometimes it's just not worth it. The other thing you can do is take some books with you. So what I'll do again is I will gather some more books together. I'll probably get another 10 books or so, and I will be back. Right, so we got some diamonds here. Now, as you can see, I've gone back to my iron gear because I don't particularly want to run through the durability of the diamond stuff quite so quickly. So we have our iron pick. We mine 1. We get 1 diamond. We take our diamond pick, which has got fortune 3. Well, we only get 2. Oh no, we got 4. We got 4 diamonds out of that. So you can see the difference that fortune makes and how it's actually quite important. So I'm just going to grab some more diamonds and I'll be back a little bit later on. Right, so I am back. I have made another set of gear here. I brought the stuff I've got with me just so I can see what the enchants I've got are. I've got 5 more books, so I can show you that. The only other thing to notice is that I only have 31 levels down the bottom here, so down here. So if I have a look at, what do we have in here first? Efficiency 4. Let's grab that. That's a much better pick. That's almost perfect. Immediately replaces that one. So now we've got 28 levels down there, right? So if we put this in here, this is now no longer available to us because we need a minimum of level 30. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop back up to the XP farm. And I'm going to get to level 55 again because we had 55 last time and it seemed to work quite well. So I will be back. Right. So I've got another 54 experience. That seemed like a good number to have last time. So let's see what we can get this time. I mean, this is pretty much a perfect pick. If we can get more stuff like this, I would be a very happy Bob. That's already enchanted. That's not going to work. We have efficiency 4. Does this one already have efficiency? It did. Didn't have unbreaking. Now it's got unbreaking. Great. Okay. The axe, unbreaking. Does this have unbreaking? I actually don't need another axe. That one is fine. Don't like fire aspect. Sweeping edge. That's a little better. Right. Fire protection. Oh, let's see if we can get something else. No. Okay. What does this give us? Fire protection as well. No good. This one. No. Unbreaking? Yes. Right. So. Not great, but much better. Yep. Much better. Yep. Much. Oh. Absolutely. Oh, wow. Look at that for a helmet. That is the perfect helmet. That's amazing. Unbreaking 3, protection 4. Perfect chest plate. Don't need to mix those together. Oh, very happy with this. Right, so the only other thing you could do, right, so let's say I have an axe here. It doesn't give us anything good. We've gone through all our gear. None of it gives us any good. What we can do is we put a book in and we get the same enchant options and we put 1 lapis in. So this is much cheaper. It only costs us 1 level. But by enchanting this book, it means that the enchants available are reset. So if we look through all these and we don't find anything that takes our fancy, we do 1 lapis on a book. And it means we can, it resets all the enchants. We can go for these again and take another look. Efficiency 4. No, let's not do that. Right. Excellent. So, what can we do now? Let's take all our iron. I guess we need to cook that up a bit. Okay, to combine enchants. So as we can see, we've got kind of these two want to combine, these two want to combine. Already perfect, already perfect. Do we want to unbreaking? We've got unbreaking efficiency, and silk touch. Yeah, okay. So to make an anvil, we take our iron ingots, and we get some blocks of iron here. So we want 3 of these. So we don't shift click this, although you can convert them back. So we go 1, 2, 3. And then as you can see, this anvil popped up. So we take an anvil, and we pop that down. Now, combining enchants also costs you experience. So what we've got here is we've got this plus this equals this, and you can also rename it up the top here. So if I do this and this combining is going to cost me 4 experience. However, if I turn them round, it's going to cost me 10 experience. Now, you might ask, why does that cost so much more when it's the same items? The reason is because when you combine, you are moving the enchants from this item onto this item. So by doing it this way round, we are moving 1 enchant onto this item. If we move it this way round, we are then moving 2 enchants onto this item, which makes it far more expensive. So then all we do is we do it like that, and we take them out. And again, this and this. And the shovel. Look at that, efficiency 5. So the other thing to do here is, the other thing to notice is when you combine 2 items that have the same kind of level on them. So as you can see, this shovel has got efficiency 4 and this shovel has got efficiency 4. They combine to make efficiency 5. Now there are caps to each one. So you might think here you got fortune 3, mix those together. There is no fortune 4, right? So fortune 3 is already the cap. So efficiency 5 and fortune 3. This is pretty much perfect. This is pretty much perfect. It could do with some sharpen on it. So the swords. Let's have a look at the swords, right? So this, as you can see, 3 and 3. So we're still moving 3 across onto 3. We are combining unbreaking, knockback, and fire aspect into sharpening, sweeping edge, and knockback, which gives us this sword here. However, because it's still got fire aspect on it, I don't want to use this sword, so I will keep this one, and I will stick this in the chest, and I will use this another day if I need to. So I'm going to pop all these in here. I'm going to pop these on. And there we go. We are all enchanted. We're looking shiny. We're looking blue. And we are looking perfect. Very happy with this gear, actually. An amazing helmet. Pretty much the best chest plate. Pretty much the best leggings. And there's some room for improvement on the boots. But we will. It's not important. Not urgent. Best pickaxe we can get off the board. Almost the best shovel we can get off the board. In fact, it is the best shovel we can get off the board, yeah. The only thing I would say is better than this is a Silk Touch pickaxe, because I think Silk Touch is better than Fortune. Well, not better, it's just how I prefer it. There's lots of room for improvement on this. There is no unbreaking, for example. And this, again, it could do with some sharpness, but otherwise, yeah, perfect. I wonder if I can get another pick. I do have another 3. Lapis. Oh, I could regret this. I could regret this. Efficiency 4 doesn't give us silk touch. The only other thing is it tells you there's efficiency. Well, in fact, I'm only level 13, so I can't try it anyway, which means I just wasted a lot of diamonds. That's an issue. So efficiency 4, but you can see that it's not just efficiency 4, it's efficiency 4 and it could be anything, right? So I could get silk touch from this, but I don't have the experience for it anyway, so I shall never know. And that's it for the end of this episode. We're all looking very shiny, we're looking very blue, we're looking very nice. I hope you've found this episode helpful. I hope you've found out how to enchant your gear, how to get your nice shiny blue stuff yourself, which enchants to go for, what the enchants do, and by following that website, that link that's in the description, you don't particularly need to know all of the enchants and what they do. They are just the most important ones that you should get first, and they will carry you through the rest of the game, and then you will learn what all the enchants are, and the next time you come to do it, you'll know. So, thank you for watching. I hope you've had a good time here, and I shall see you in the next episode. Thanks very much. Bye.